Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to do something really fun. We are going to enthusiastically deconstruct a highly specific, incredibly dense, and just visually striking architectural scene. Now, this isn't just your run-of-the-mill construction site, no way. We're going to see exactly how it's built, quite literally from the dirt up. We'll be breaking down every single adjective, every structural requirement, and every technical spec to understand exactly how you construct a digital masterpiece. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's dive right in by putting on our cinematic director hats and framing the perfect, most satisfying shot. The original design parameters immediately set up the exact lens through which we're viewing this world. It demands an ultra-realistic, top-down drone view locked perfectly into a vertical 9:16 ratio. Right off the bat, we aren't standing on the ground craning our necks looking up. We're hovering. We're totally detached, getting this incredible macro view of the Earth being manipulated. And this specific vantage point is perfectly designed to give us absolute visual control over the space. So that brings us to a really fascinating question. What exactly goes into designing the perfect viral architectural transformation? Because as we unpack this, it becomes incredibly clear that this is about way more than just, well, digging a hole. We're going to uncover the precise mix of physical groundwork and high-end digital polish required to make this specific scene so utterly compelling. It's really a masterclass in visual storytelling through setting alone. Section 1. Setting the aerial scene. A macro perspective. Just to make sure we're completely on the same page as we move forward, let's define exactly what architectural earthworks are in this context. It's the groundwork of a home, specifically defined as a large rectangular excavation pit precisely carved into the ground. Notice that word right there. Precisely. There is absolutely no chaos here. It's an organized, highly deliberate manipulation of the natural landscape. Think about the canvas for a second. Notice how these specific, lush descriptors instantly establish a premium, high-end vibe before a single shovel even hits the dirt. The setup specifically calls for a cinematic aerial shot of a luxurious green backyard garden. We aren't out in some barren desert or a messy industrial zone, right? We're starting with an image of pristine, wealthy domesticity, this lush green garden, and introducing a massive disruption right smack in the middle of it. And we are viewing this disruption through a very specific window, 9:16. This vertical ratio is a completely crucial detail. It perfectly optimizes that luxurious aerial view for a modern, mobile-first audience. The design is hyper-aware of where this image is meant to be consumed. It's not built for a massive widescreen theater, it's literally meant to fill the screen of your smartphone, naturally forcing your eye to travel straight up and down that deeply carved excavation pit. All right, let's move right along to Section 2, Carving the Groundwork, Structured Excavation. Look at how these exact steps create a highly satisfying step-by-step setup. Think about the incredible contrast here. Step 1, you have the untouched, luxurious green backyard. Step 2, boom, the introduction of a large rectangular excavation pit. And step 3, the emergence of a precisely carved subject within that pit. There's just this inherent, undeniable psychological satisfaction in watching perfect order and geometry being forced upon raw nature. And what is that geometry? At the very center of this pit, the shape of a house is already emerging right from the earth. The design actually specifies that the shape of a house is already precisely carved into the ground. It's a total inversion of how we normally think about building. Instead of building walls up toward the sky, the shape of the home is being revealed by digging down into the earth. It creates this unbelievable visual anchor right in the middle of the frame. Now, this is absolutely crucial. This isn't just a messy, random hole. It's an incredibly precise, easily recognizable house shape grounded in strict real-world accuracy. The design mandates accurate real-world proportions and instantly recognizable design details. The house shape has to be large, centered, cleanly outlined, and clearly visible. If it were just jagged and messy, our brains wouldn't register the architectural intent. Those crisp, clean lines are exactly what make the whole thing work. Let's zoom in a little bit closer for Section 3, Textures, Motion, and Light, Sensory Details. This is where the friction happens, brilliantly illustrating the contrast that makes the scene so dynamic. On one side, you have the organic elements, the detailed grass textures, the rich soil layers, the natural shadows. And clashing right up against them are the mechanical elements, digging tools, heavy machinery, human intervention. It's that exact friction between the still, natural earth and the loud, dynamic mechanical energy of construction that totally grabs our attention. Pay really close attention to this genius detail in the design. Realistic construction workers operating machinery with subtle motion blur. Actually, adding that slight blur to the workers and machinery is a game changer.
It injects a vital sense of action and tension into what would otherwise be a completely static top-down view. It totally tricks your brain into feeling the buzzing, humming energy of a live worksite.
I want you to really visualize these vibrant colors for a second. Picture the fresh soil piles and the rich soil layers creating these deep, earthy browns and blacks, contrasting sharply against the super detailed, vibrant green grass. And the whole thing is illuminated by consistent daylight. There are no moody, dark shadows hiding the details here. The lighting is meticulously engineered to showcase the textures and the architectural geometry with absolute clarity.
Finally, let's pull back to look at the big picture in Section 4, Premium Viral Aesthetic, Digital Polish.
To ensure this doesn't just look like a standard, everyday construction photo, the scene requires an extreme level of visual fidelity. It has to be hyper-detailed, photorealistic, delivered in full 4K resolution, and bathed in cinematic lighting. These specific technical specs elevate the image from just some dirt in a yard to an ultra-realistic premium viewing experience that literally demands your attention. Everything we've discussed so far, the vertical ratio, the highly satisfying geometry, the vibrant textures, the high-res polish, it is all meticulously designed to culminate in a premium Instagram Reel aesthetic. Because the goal here isn't just documentation. The goal is engagement. It's engineered from the ground up to be a visually arresting piece of social media art that makes you stop your scroll instantly. And to preserve that pure premium vibe, the absolute golden rule is this: no text, no watermark. The design demands a completely clean, uninterrupted visual experience. Any words or logos plastered over the top would completely shatter the illusion, ruining the clean lines of that precisely carved house and the lush grass. The image has to stand entirely on its own visual merit. So, as we wrap up this explainer and look at how meticulously this scene was constructed through mere descriptions, I'll leave you with a bit of a provocative thought. In our modern, highly visual world, does the ultimate groundwork of a home exist out there in the physical dirt, or does it truly begin in the hyper-detailed, perfectly lit digital rendering of its potential? Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating architectural blueprint with me. See you next time.